Welcome to Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast.
We are back, another episode of Around the Rinks. I'm Noah, joined by Brendan, Kylee, and Reece. Big trade deadline just happened. We kind of went over a couple trades last week that broke on Wednesday, but what a Friday.
Friday was exciting. Yeah, a lot of it happened before, which kind of led you to believe it wouldn't be exciting, but turned out.
Very unhealthy amount of hours on Twitter, I gotta say. It was not good.
Elliot Friedman screen time.
Oh yeah, you know what? Made a couple of big tweets, not to brag. Got a couple thousand views.
How many likes? We don't talk about likes.
We don't talk about likes.
Okay.
I think one post got like 2. So
Not a big deal.
not a big deal.
You did have good recaps. Like there was a bunch of guys, especially a part of that Gensel trade.
The Gensel
I had
one.
no idea.
The Gensel one I went hard on. So I just went into depth on every player and whatnot, trying to make it sound better for Dubas' sake, but that was
Fleeced a bit.
That was a bit of a fleece. But we're gonna go into kind of a recap of what happened on Friday. I think the first big trade of Noah Hanifin to Vegas. It's probably the first one to set it off here. A first and a third going to Calgary. And that's a pretty good deal for Hanifin. I'll give it that. The first has that weird condition of if the pick gets traded and moves to next year, which it did for the Thomas Hertl trade, which we'll get to. Oh my God. So Calgary gets a 2026 first-round pick from Vegas.
Yeah, which is so weird. I've never seen that condition before.
Yeah, I've never seen that condition. It made no sense. Vegas still has their first-rounder for this year, which is surprising because the draft is in Vegas now, so might as well keep it.
Yeah, a lot of people are not happy with Vegas and how they got some of their trades.
Yeah, people are not going to be happy. Why wouldn't you do it though?
Yeah,
right.
It's good for the league.
Yeah, it's a league issue for salary cap and the LTIR.
Well, now everybody has a villain too, right? No one likes Vegas at this point.
Oh yeah,
right?
That's why I love Vegas so much. It's just they are the villains of the NHL, right? It's great for stories and everybody hates them, so it's kind of funny.
They must be at damn near $15 million over the cap though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, probably. I can probably check right now, but.
How much is Stone making?
Like Hertl's making 6.2 or whatever they knocked it down to, and then they've got Stone at 9 point whatever on LTIR. Both of them are, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, like bringing in Hanifin, that's another $5 million.
Yeah. So without any LTIR space, it's $92 million. So that's about $10 million over the cap.
Yeah.
Damn.
No LTIR. So. They definitely have a stacked roster if it's coming to playoffs and everybody's back, right? So, and Mark Stone, he's probably going to be back for the playoffs, I assume, right? So,
and even if he's a shell of the player he is, the fact that you're so loaded and whatnot, he doesn't have to play a feature role, and he still will because he's Mark Stone. But
yeah, he will.
He doesn't have to, and that's the luxury that they have. It's unreal.
Seriously, when you have a team that deep and you can afford losing your captain and one of the best players on your team isn't going to completely derail your season, that's such a luxury.
Yeah.
It's when you have to, especially when you're going and making these big trades for a guy like Hertl who's not going to play a single regular season game this year, and then you don't even have to worry about upgrading, going into playoffs. All you have to worry about is game one, first round.
Yeah, just get there, fellas.
And Hanifin is only making $1.2 million because of the retained salary that Calgary and Philly did. So you're only getting 25% of Hanifin's cap. We've seen a lot of three-way trades this Friday. And
yeah, that's really
it's what they have to do, right?
Yeah.
So.
Especially with this tight, really, this is the last year, hopefully, of this extremely tight cap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping that things get a little bit more exciting. This year's deadline was good, I thought.
It was great, yeah.
There's a lot of big players that got moved, and the past couple, haven't been great, but I think now GMs have kind of adjusted to, this whole tight cap not going up at all.
Yeah, making money work, and a lot of teams doing things too, right? It wasn't, you had 2, 3, 4, 5 big teams making all the moves, right? Like there was
everybody,
a dozen teams adding.
Yeah, I think the only two
exciting.
teams that didn't do anything was LA and the Islanders.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, which is kind of
crazy. Yeah,
only 2 teams, right? But now fucking decor on Vegas now is scary. Like Petrangelo, Shea Theodore, now Noah Hannafin. You got Martinez still back there. I think he's on IR. But
Haig, McNabb.
You could say so many, right? McNabb, like that's 6 people right there.
Yep.
I have White Cloud there too, right? So it's a scary.
Yeah, you talk
decor,
about
right?
those teams with like 6 top 4 defensemen. Like, there it is, right there. Like the depth on this Vegas team is so scary. Like that was what they talked about last year, especially on that playoff run, was having that 4th line that was just like a 3rd line on any other team in the NHL. Yeah. That's what they're going to be doing again this season. Like, you don't lose anything. Like, it's not like they gained much, but they didn't have to. Like, they sat there after that finals and was like, oh, we could have gone another round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't honestly know how any team could beat Vegas and go on to, like, continue playing like that. Like, you're going to get so banged up from this highly skilled, highly, like, aggressive, heavy-ass team. It's going to be really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as they can get their goaltending again, which no signs have said that they won't.
Seriously.
Aiden Hill is going to keep playing, extremely with that decor in front of him now, right? Like, you're going to make any goalie look great, right? So
life's only probably going to get easier for
him. Another big defenseman getting traded, Joel Edmondson to Toronto for a 3rd and a 5th.
Shaking it up.
Shaking it
moves.
Up. Yeah, there's your Justin Hull 2.0. Not really, honestly. I'm a big fan of Edmondson game. I really thought he could win to Edmonton. So, big boy defenseman, big reach, plays the body. You know, kind of like Vinny Desharnais compared to Edmonton.
Prototypical defenseman. Like.
Yeah, right. Veteran guy too.
Seriously.
So
he won with
St. Louis.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
2019. Then won in the Cup run in Montreal as well. Also, speaking of a big defenseman, Troy Stetcher.
Yeah.
Big time defenseman going to Edmonton for a 4th rounder. Impact defenseman right there.
Did you see his headshot? He looks like a crazy person.
Really?
Oh, dude.
I saw the headshot today.
Oh, yeah. It's not the prettiest picture.
It's probably what happens when you go from AZ to Edmonton.
Yeah, just shock.
But that's what Edmonton needed, is the 7th defenseman there. That's pretty much all they needed besides that Henrique and Carrick. I feel like their roster is pretty filled out now. Not sure if you guys want to...
Yeah, and I mean, it gives them the opportunity to run that 11-7, which, like, I don't think they've done much with Knobloch, but, like, they haven't really had a 7th defenseman to do that. And that's had pretty good success for them, like, in these last couple playoffs. So I think having that opportunity can at least, like, give them some more options. But
yeah,
I don't know. Stetcher's obviously not, like, the game breaker.
No. I think options up front, too, right? With you have, what, like, 6 centers on your roster now?
Yeah.
7 centers and, a varying levels of skill and, reliability, right? But you can just deploy your lineup so many different ways, and with the 2 best players on your team there, you're going to have a shot at the Cup, whenever they're healthy, right? So
yeah, I liked seeing Brown play with Henrique. I'm not a big Brown fan. Yeah. I wish he would have went down instead of Gagne. But he had more chances. He was playing harder. Obviously, he didn't get a goal in the net, but you could see he was trying harder for sure. And I think those 2 on the 3rd line, I think he has a chance of scoring either before playoffs or in the playoffs, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Goofy conversation still.
I love it.
You have 20 games left. The guy still can't pot one.
I know.
Not even the shin
I'm saying this.
It's crazy.
That's kind of what has led Edmonton to this whole thing of getting to the deadline. You need a top 6 forward, like blah, blah. They couldn't make it work, obviously. But, I mean, like, coming into the season, you thought Brown was that top 6
how funny
forward,
is that?
Right?
Yeah.
I
I think I have a tweet out there just saying how much I love the Connor Brown signing and how impactful
this
that's
can't
be for
miss.
cheap.
Yeah,
right?
literally. How could this go wrong?
How could this go wrong?
We were so excited.
It just has not
I think he
worked out.
had a hat trick in one of the preseason games, too. Like, he was sick in the
he just fell
preseason
off.
playing with McDavid. Like, yeah, I know. That's actually crazy.
It's so funny.
What do you think of him coming down on the 2-on-1 and throwing it back to Nurse.
That's just
Whatever
the
they
story
have,
of the
like
season.
3 rip, 4 rip.
Yeah.
Like, take the shot, dude.
Please.
Yeah. Take the shot.
Everybody
Try.
Nurse probably didn't even want it. He's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
shoot it. Yeah, you just got to feel for him, though. Yeah.
You just want to give him a hug.
But I mean, I think overall, like honestly, you can't really be disappointed in the deadline as an Oilers fan. Like, your team got better, and you didn't have to give up a single roster player. So
Yep.
I mean, like,
It just sucks that the West and
yeah,
Got even better.
exactly.
your one rival, really, in Vegas.
And
Yeah,
then
it's
let's say you get past Vegas, just for
Somehow.
Colorado.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Well, and even if they end up playing L.A.
yeah, even
Yeah,
Like,
I'm happy.
that's
I'm
not
happy.
easy out
LA is
either.
going to be a hard team as well if they're in there, and it's
Like, I don't trust their goaltending a whole bunch, but the past 2 years we've had their number, but it's not been an easy out
Yeah,
by any stretch.
I've been saying that for the last for literally this whole season. Like, all that LA has thought about has been Edmonton for the last 2 years, right? Like, like, obviously they've got a good track record, but what are the odds they beat them 3 years in a row? Like, that stuff just doesn't happen all that often.
Well, it's so crazy that, especially in the West, the East has a little bit more bottom,
Yeah, definitely more
bottom
heavy,
teams and
yeah.
then some top heavy teams up there,
Yeah.
right? But in
Yeah.
the West,
It's very.
you can either lose out in the first or go win it, right? Like, anybody can
Seriously.
go. It's crazy the caliber of team they have.
I mean, playoffs, totally different. Like, Vegas might get in as a second wild card, right? Like,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
they're in
like-
the second wild card right now.
yeah, exactly. Like, you don't really know what to expect, like, come playoff time. So, I don't know. I think
But it's so exciting. I'm excited for the
It's-
run. I'm
yeah.
excited for the playoffs. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah,
It's gonna
it's gonna be such a fun playoffs.
Well,
So excited
speaking
for it.
of playoffs, so in general, our ticket prices
I saw
for the
that.
Oilers have gone up 11%. 50% for the playoffs. So, boys, it's either Moss Pit or watching it at home this year. There's
Yeah,
no
it's
way I'm going to be able to afford it's $300 for nosebleeds.
yeah, I saw there was like standing sections in the like
You watch it
top-
at the concession stand.
Yeah, pretty much like the stairs at the top of Rogers Place
Yeah.
that go above the ice and stuff. That's probably where the standing room is because I think they will literally try and jam as many people into that building as humanly possible.
Yep.
But those tickets were like $250. Like that's it's just ridiculous.
That ain't happening.
But I mean, that's what happens when you pay guys $12.5 million and you've got a good team, right? Like you got to make that up. The
Oh
money.
yeah, and it's going to sell out, right? So you might as well.
Yeah. There's no way that it doesn't. sell
You're already
out.
spending $30 on beers, so like for one beer, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say $30 on beers. Man,
Yeah.
I can't get out there without spending $200.
$30 on beer, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna go back to the deadline real quick. We got a little sidetracked with the Edmonton going on, of course. Colorado trading for Yakov Trenin for a pretty cheap price, 3rd round pick. I know Reece was talking about it, and you're kind of surprised at the price of him.
Yeah, I think the production is definitely what, like looking today, I think he only has 20-some points or like not a whole lot of production this year, but he's a huge skilled forward. Like he's definitely an impactful player. It really sucks watching the Avalanche get him and Duhaime and all of these big name guys.
It's crazy.
Like maybe not big name, but big boys. Like these guys
boys.
do
That's
not.
the one,
And they
right?
still
Playoff.
have potential too, right?
Yeah, so
Like,
they're all young too. Like I think a lot of them are RFAs.
I wanna say-
Putting the puck in the net, too,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
these guys have that touch. And like you said, they're big. They're not fun to play against.
but
No.
I'm a big fan of Trenin's game, so the 3rd round pick, I'll take. Any team would want that, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they went for that. Then Nashville replaces him with Anthony Bolivier for a 5th rounder. I like Bolivier. His time in Chicago wasn't long, playing with Bedard, but whatever.
He popped off in Vancouver when he went there, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and scored
So
huge
hopefully-
goals in the playoffs for the Islanders.
Right. So extremely during that conference final run.
Yeah.
Could
Yeah,
end
I
up being
remember
a pretty decent sized pickup.
Definitely.
And I mean, the Preds, like, they added. Like, they also got Zucker and they got Wade Allison or something. I'd never heard of him before, like,
Yeah.
the other day. But, like, for a team that is just so, like,
It's crazy. Like
bubble.
but like always consistently there.
Yeah,
right?
They're like scary consistently, always making the playoffs.
Well, they're in their last 12 games right now. They're 10-0-2.
Crazy.
And they're in a pretty comfortable position in that first wild card spot. Like, odds are, unless Saros just all of a sudden falls off the face of the earth, which won't happen, like, they're probably going to make the playoffs again. I think they're going to be a tougher out this year than they were last year. Like, having O'Reilly and having, like, some of those big-name guys now.
That O'Reilly signing was crazy good.
Who would have thought? Like, even, especially last year when he started off the year in St. Louis so bad. And then, like,
went to Toronto.
Yeah, went to Toronto. You kind of saw those flashes again. And then now, like, this year, he's got to be near a point per game.
Yeah.
Like, he's been pretty unreal.
Extremely, like, him and Forsberg have just been lights out together.
Forsberg's been insane.
That guy can't stop scoring goals either.
Yeah. It's just nonstop. Nashville scoring goals.
Tired of seeing that red light go off.
Yeah, seriously. That pretty little mustache of his.
Best mustache in the league, maybe? I don't know. Third round pick, again getting traded for Anthony Duclair now. San Jose Sharks, Tampa Bay Lightning. So same price as Trennan, but Duclair is probably a bigger piece than Trennan. And Tampa, I love this piece for Tampa. I'm a big fan of Duclair's game.
For a team that has a probably open spot on power play 1, like Nick Paul is in there right now. And obviously he's a good player, but I mean, like, you add a skilled guy like Duclair to an already extremely skilled power play, like, they're going to be sick. Like, I think that's going to be a super underrated addition going into playoffs.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Duclair. He already scored a goal, I think, his first game with Tampa, I want to say. I think it was a goal.
That
and
7-rep win.
Yeah. So, hopefully he can be a big piece for them. And as they're trying to, like, get everything back together again.
He's had quite the career too. Like when he started, I think he started in New York and then he went to Columbus.
Yeah,
and he was huge.
The whipping boy of all whipping boys.
Yeah, seriously. And he scored like when he was a big name prospect too. Like he definitely bounced around for a long time. Finally found a home in Florida, and then they ship him out, and then ends up getting another opportunity, and has to spend half the season in San Jose.
I mean, he got paid.
Nice place.
Take a little vacation for the first half of the year in SoCal.
A vacation from Florida to San Jose. So
yeah,
I guess it's
from Florida to San Jose
to Tampa Bay.
Shucks. Shucks. I feel so bad for Mr. Anthony.
But yeah, no, I'm happy to see him get back on a competitive team.
Yeah, that's fun. Get those juices back, right?
Seriously, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, biggest trade of the deadline probably Jake Gensel.
Easily biggest.
Yeah, Carolina.
Underwhelming though.
And Ty Smith to Carolina as well, which I think is a pretty big piece.
Kind of underrated.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ty Smith. So, and the price is, you don't get a guaranteed first round pick. It's kind of crazy. I'm gonna ignore most of the players here, but Michael Bunting. 2024 conditional second round pick and a 2024 fifth round pick. And the condition for the second round pick is if Carolina makes it to the Cup final. So it's not a guaranteed first round pick for Jake Gensel, which is
it's just like, why didn't someone else go get him?
Yeah.
Like Bunting, he's an NHL player, very capable and would play in your top 6, but it by no means is he like the biggest needle mover in the whole wide league, right? Like he's just a supporting character as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And, the draft capital, and then you get Ty Smith, who's not really a prospect anymore, but
he's only 24 though.
Only 24.
He's a defenseman, right? 24 yet. Yeah.
And humble brag, I did get to step on the ice with him a couple times growing up,
really?
And that dude was easily the best player I've ever played against in my years growing up. Like, he would control the game without even having the puck. Like, we would be attacking somehow, and he's still the main focus of everything. It's like, he's a phenomenal hockey player.
That's definitely a very underrated piece of this whole trade for Carolina, right? Like, it's not even just Jake Gensel. It's Ty Smith and Jake Gensel.
Yeah.
Then they also get a lot of prospects, mid-second rounders and third rounders and a fourth rounder, I'm pretty sure. They're all pretty good. I did a pretty big analysis on them on Twitter, but it's whatnot. It's maybe players, right? It's maybe
exactly.
They're going to be in your bottom 6, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, if everything goes well.
But in my opinion, I think this is just another one of those deals that gives you another reason why Kyle Dubas isn't a good GM. Goes out. I don't mean to sound but picks up Bunting, right?
Gets his guy.
He's obviously in love with this guy.
Gets
like
his
he
guy, no
loves
kidding.
Bunting. I think that was the big needle pusher on this deal. Is
I never even put that together. That's a
maybe
good call.
Maybe I can't get a first round pick, but I can get the guy I know, and I know what I'm gonna get out of him. Like, and it just blows my mind. Like, I don't know how he thinks of this deal. Like, he literally just signed in Carolina, and then he's boom back over to Pittsburgh to a totally different situation.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I think this was a very personal trade for him. It seemed like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to get Michael Bunting. Like, that seems crazy to me.
And it was like, what, the Rangers were in on him as well. Like, I don't understand how there was a better offer.
I think that they didn't want to give up Perreault or the guy they drafted first round last year. Which, I mean, like, God forbid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like
It's a head scratcher for sure.
makes no sense. I don't really get it.
But while we're on...
Thanks Carolina, you know.
Yeah. I'd rather him go there
last
than
night
Vegas.
where Shesterkin just took over.
Yeah.
What?
Unreal game.
I didn't catch it all, but
Another
I flipped in
shutout
for a
for the
little bit
guy.
there. Unbelievable.
That was good hockey to
Yeah,
watch.
it's
Like,
just another reason to be more excited for the playoffs
Playoffs,
because
right.
that could be a Eastern Conference final matchup very easily.
yeah.
Yeah.
But while we're on Carolina, sorry, just really quick. Like, this might honestly be, like, their last dance situation because, like, looking at their free agents and RFAs, like, these are just some of the main guys. Like, Gensel, Teravainen, Shea, Pesci, Martin Hook, who's making, like, barely any money, Jarvis, Nikas, Ranta, and Stefan Nosen. Like,
Wow.
they have
I didn't
$31
realize
million in
that
cap
either.
space. Which, I mean, like, sounds like a lot, right? But when
Not
you've
for
got
that list.
yeah, like Jarvis, I think is still on an RFA
He has an
contract.
RFA,
Nikas is only making $3 million. I think he's probably gonna be the odd guy out for sure.
He's also an RFA.
Yeah, like Pesce's gonna need a decent pay grade. Like Teravainen's gonna need an upgrade. You're paying Kotkaniemi like $6 million because you offer sheeted him for no reason. Like
Petty.
they kind of. I don't know. Like I think this is why they kind of took that step this year to be like, okay, we'll go be buyers at the deadline for the first time in this whole stretch they've been on, where they've been so good but haven't gotten over that hump. Like, I think this is it for them. And they've got Svench and Aho locked up long term, so they'll be like good. But I think this is the best opportunity they'll have in a fairly wide open East, except for the Panthers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are probably top dog right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Or top cat. Haha.
Nicely done.
But speaking of Carolina, another third-round pick gets traded to Washington for Evgeny Kuznetsov. End of an era, is what I like to say. End of an era for Kuz. And
What a
retain-
firestorm that turned into, too.
I
eh?
know, right? Getting sent
he
to
went
Hershey.
from just Mount Rushmore to couldn't get him out of there fast enough.
Backstrom's replacement, like especially when like they went on that cup run and like those series against Pittsburgh, like he was sick.
I was like,
And
is this guy the best player in the NHL?
like honestly,
Yeah.
like he was really making a case to be like a top 10 guy in the NHL, Ovi's like right hand man, and just like I don't know, it could
almost-
definitely
how
be
the
a
tides can
substance thing,
change.
but
Yeah, he won player assistance and whatnot.
and there's always
that
that
could
thing.
be that, right?
A few years ago, wasn't he suspended from IHF for like
Yes.
having that video come out with him?
him
There was like
smoking
4 lines or something.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Like I think there's always kind of been this whole like drug problem around him. Who knows if it's actually like if he's really involved? But I mean like, it just kind of goes to show you like you can't get into that stuff for sure. It really. I don't know. I really hope the best for him. Like him being in Carolina, he's got a good opportunity, good players around him.
He
like,
can definitely like change his game.
And-
He can bring it back, right? And he's only 31, right?
Yeah.
So
and watching those games, like I mean, he didn't play like a ton. Like I think he only played like 14 minutes or something, but he didn't score or get a point.
I don't
but
think he has a
was
point yet.
buzzing around, like creating opportunities. Like
he's very similar to Kucherov, like another Russian guy, right? He plays the game slow, but like in the best way possible. He plays
At
in
my
slow
pace.
motion,
so
right?
high skilled though,
Yeah, but in that way, it's skill and
just like Brennan.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
But yeah, I feel like that's a good trade for Carolina, and kind of the forward market has definitely fallen during that trade deadline.
Seriously,
it's like thirds getting thrown around.
Well, it turned into a buyer's market real quick there at the end of it.
Oh yeah,
it's like we still have a lot of pieces.
Yeah,
and there's an hour left. Let's get them moving.
But that's why those trades happen, like the Henrik, Monahan, Lindholm, all those trades happen before the deadline, before the market switches, because then they sold high, right? So
yeah.
Well, and to go get your guy and integrate him into your systems and whatnot, like there's a case to be made that it's worth paying a little bit more too, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like you look at a deal like that Lindholm contract, like or trade.
Yeah.
But I mean, like looking at it now, it's like that's
a great
definitely a bit of an overpay on Vancouver's part. But I mean, like at that time, like that was.
Calgary,
but honestly, great. Like say that happens at the deadline, and he has the hot start, and he scores a couple off the bat, and everything's going awesome, and now we're slumping into playoffs.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather have that slump around the deadline, and work our way out of it into playoffs.
Yeah.
And who says that happens, right? Like we don't know if that's the case, but I would way rather, go through these growing pains right now than in the first round when you go, what?
Which is always the risk of trading people at the deadline, 100%. Extremely for like a guy like Thomas Hertl, which we'll get to again, but he's injured right now and he's not coming back till the first round.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know the system. He hasn't even seen the teammates, right? So it's... Yeah, we'll see how that's going to work out for him. Florida getting Kyle Okposo from Buffalo. A trade that, like, no one really saw coming.
No.
Right? Like,
well, that's just, doing a vet a favor kind of thing. We'll send you to a contender. Where do you want to go?
Well, a 7th round pick.
They've got like I think this is the start of a culture reset in Buffalo. Like, I think they've got to get out of whatever this dark cloud is above that organization because like they've just been so underwhelming for so long. Like I think it's just built into them now. Like we lose. That's just how it is.
Collect the paychecks.
Yeah.
And wait for our vacation somewhere that's not in Buffalo.
They're kind of on a heater right now though. So since Byram, right? So
Byram 3 goals in 3 games. Like
3 goals, 4 points, right?
I'm interested to see what their plan is because like that left side, like I know Dahlin and Byram are playing right now.
Yep.
But like. I don't know. I don't understand that trade for Byram or for Buffalo, in my opinion. Like you've got what's his name? The first, not Dahlin. Power. Jeez. Like both of them are locked up for the next 8 years. I'm pretty sure
on deadly deals.
Yeah, and then like I think Byram's got this year and then next year on his contract. So I don't know. Like maybe he'll pop off, but I mean like. That top 4 will be sick, but that's a lot of, like...
But you need help up front, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck, like, they got names for sure, but
it's not like they're underwhelming this year, too.
That, and it's not like they're filled out. Like, you can't... Yeah. It's... Like, you can't really afford to move a middle stat up there.
And
especially for, like you said, a back end, especially a left side that's pretty set.
Yeah.
In their top 4, it's all left-handed defensemen, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and if it works, fantastic, but it's typically that's not really what you want to see.
Super young, like they could literally have like a Nashville kind of thing where you got Suter, Ellis, Weber, like Ekholm, like where you've got
have those guys for the next 10 years.
Yeah. But I mean, eventually, like these guys got like Byram's gonna have to get paid, and Samuelson's already making 6 point something, I think. Like,
no, I think the Samuelson deal.
Or maybe he's only making 4, but it's a long.
Yeah, I think it's 4 for like 8 years.
But I mean, like, it's a lot of money to invest in guys that like
play the same game.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like Byram's gonna get PP1 minutes when you're paying Dahlin $11 million, right? Like.
Yeah. Well, that's why they like Samuelson. He's the lockdown guy.
Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. And Dahlin can play lockdown as well. And I think all of them are really good 2-way defenders. And Byram could be a little shaky on the D's sometimes, right? And now he's playing on his offhand, which as a defenseman, you see more mistakes.
Just a small aspect of the game, right? Like it's not. Everything, right? It's turning a way that you're not accustomed to. It's picking up a rim off the wall. It's making a breakout pass. Like it's all things you can do. It's just a little different.
Yeah. But I mean, like the back end will be sick for sure.
I mean, yeah, that's a crazy back end or back end.
And the way that they play too in the offensive zone, like they've pretty much got 4 forwards down there. Like Darlene gets super low. Watching that Byram goal last night, like he was in front of the net. He was right in front of the net.
Right? I love watching them have zone pressures.
Yeah, like they're a fun team to watch. But yeah, no, just a little odd, honestly, in my opinion. Not for Colorado, but just for Buffalo.
Okay, speaking of kind of a poor market right now for forwards, Tyler Toffoli getting traded for a second and a third to Winnipeg. Like that for me is one of the most crazy trades of the deadline. Like that is a low price for Toffoli. I feel like he's going to fit perfectly in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with what New Jersey's cap situation is or what their plan was with Toffoli. Obviously not re-signing him, but like it like you said, a buyer's market. It's a low price to play for someone that just plays in the playoffs, scores goals, produces, and wins. He's won all over the place.
Yeah, and he's not like he's having a bad season in New Jersey too. He has 26 goals, 44 points in 61 games there. Like I don't really get the move. And he's a veteran guy. He scored the OT winner that knocked Winnipeg out in Montreal, I'm pretty sure, a bit ago. So he's going back to that team.
Yeah,
he's doing a Canadian tour too.
Yeah, this is Canadian tour.
Fourth
I think he has to come to Edmonton and
Toronto
Ottawa and Toronto.
Toronto, yeah,
over halfway there.
But yeah, no, I agree though. Like for a guy who's probably gonna hit 30 goals again, I mean, like I think this is more a panic move by that New Jersey GM. Like,
yeah,
I think like if their season doesn't go the way that it has, like Toffoli's probably re-signed by now. Like
that's true.
I think like I don't know. I think it was a little bit unnecessary. Like, obviously, I think their whole season got derailed as soon as Dougie Hamilton went down. Yep. But, I mean, like, for a guy who's just been super consistent and really doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes out there, like a pretty good pro, that's very cheap. And, like, Winnipeg, I don't know their cap situation either, but, like, if they end up re-signing him, like, what a steal that is.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Like, I'm so surprised he didn't go for a first. For a guy who's been that consistent, and he can play anywhere in the lineup too. Could
you imagine if
PK as well?
Winnipeg would have sent a first, and Carolina still didn't send a first for Gensel?
That'd be so fun.
Cool.
Like I said,
Edmonton sends a first.
I think that Gensel trade killed the market for forwards. It absolutely killed the market. Yeah. No other first besides later, but
freaking Kyle Dubas.
Speaking of Gensel, like, how do we think Crosby feels about that? I'm sure he's pretty pissed. I think he put out a statement the day before, like...
Don't trade him.
Yeah, saying, like, putting the pressure on it, and still the GM did it anyways. And I'm sure, like, what do we think Crosby's going to do in 2 years? Like,
I don't know.
Like, are we thinking he's moving? Like,
you would think. You would...
I think he's a pen for life.
Yeah, I think so.
But say... In some weird world, Dubas keeps on shanking this roster up, and Letang's gone, and Malkin leaves, and this and that, and Crosby's the only one left from the old guard. I don't know. I don't know if I feel loyalty anymore. Yeah. You got this new management group come in, and they take away everybody that you've ever played with and won the cups with.
Yeah. Like, he's playing great. He's everybody's favorite for captain for the Canadian team. Like, it's not like he's getting older and worse. Like, he's getting older and better. His
production is something we've honestly never seen.
Yeah. He's not done, but...
No.
Yeah,
like is he going to be done because of what's happening? Who knows?
It's a scary thought, honestly.
I agree with Brendan. Like, I think he is a pen for life, but I mean, like, you're seeing this frustration from him that you've never really seen before. Like,
and rightfully so. I'd be frustrated too.
No, definitely. Like, it's pretty heartbreaking for like a guy with that much of a legacy, and like you really want that to continue, right? Like 3 Stanley Cups, going for 4, that would be awesome. Like, especially for that whole core, and like just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Even if Bunting turns into Pascal Dupuis or like Chris Kunitz are like high ceiling. Like, I don't think that that's worth it at all to be doing this. Like, you might as well just pay Gensel. Like,
if tomorrow's going to come, right? Crosby's going to retire. He can't play forever. I understand you got to look out for your future. But
didn't even look out for their future.
Exactly. Exactly. And now you've pissed them off.
I don't know what Dubas's plan with his team going forward now, because now you're stuck with
maybe another $11 million defenseman.
Carlson.
Maybe big rebuild. I don't see Crosby.
I don't get it.
Letting him not do a big rebuild for
No,
the end
of course
his
not.
career.
I don't think they
It has to
can.
be.
They can't do. Think of all the veteran they still have the core still, right?
Yeah.
And they have 2 top 10 defensemen in the league, and I don't get it at all on what he's wanting to do. Or maybe Gensel came up to him and said, "I'm not going to sign." It's that could be the case right
Yeah,
there.
maybe
right?
he wanted out so bad that he didn't even get a first pick in return. He was just like, I'm gone.
Yeah,
It could be.
They need Celebrini.
Yeah.
That would be so sick.
imagine.
I mean, Pens are 3-6-1 their last 10. They're on a 4-game losing streak right now.
That'd be like the Packers, going from Favre
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Rodgers to now hopefully Love. You got Lemieux to Crosby to the Celebrini kid who is absolutely taking, NCAA hockey by storm.
yeah, he's sick actually.
He's going to win the Hobie Baker's a 17-year-old.
Give it to him already.
He's probably gonna be I think he's very similar to Jack Eichel, and Jack Eichel should have been a first overall pick, but Connor McDavid was there. Right?
Yeah,
I think
sorry.
might not be I don't think Celebrini is on that projection to be a Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon kind of thing, but I think he's gonna be sick
The kid's-
for sure.
the kid's
He's gonna be your top line forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And play down the middle, right?
Yeah, right. That'd be sick. Imagine if he goes to Pittsburgh.
I never, yeah.
I
was hoping that he
upset
would
about that at all.
kind of get teamed up with Bernard and Chicago.
Yeah, I know. I was kinda
just
thinking
because
the
I
same
want to
thing.
see those two run the show forever, right? But Pittsburgh, that's a good pull.
That'd be so funny.
Speaking of Chicago, San Jose and Chicago first teams
They're out.
eliminated.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Who would have expected that at the start of the year?
I don't know. The Sharks win the cup, so missed opportunity.
But-
I remember
guy.
talking to Noah almost the beginning of the semester, being the Sharks could be the worst team in history,
Yeah.
and then it ended up the Blackhawks being eliminated first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
what's the
injuries, though.
difference?
They had a shit go
Yeah,
for
like-
Taylor Hall and
They started strong too, right? I'm pretty sure.
beat Pittsburgh.
When
Well,
they
the
were
fact
fully
that
healthy.
the Oilers were down there with them and now we're second, it's crazy to
Seriously.
think of. What a comeback for us. I saw a video of the Oilers creeping up from literally the bottom to
Oh,
second.
yeah,
I think I
like-
saw that.
Yeah.
With just the little bar graph kind of
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
That was nice to watch.
So
Keep my heart
Pittsburgh
warm.
plays San Jose next. If they lose that, they're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah.
I think, you pretty much got to pack it in for. They pretty much can pack it in right now. It's
Oh, yeah,
gonna
their
be really,
season's
really,
done.
yeah. But I mean, when you lose 5 in a row, especially one of them to San Jose, that's not good at all.
Nope.
Poor Sid.
Yeah, it feels so bad for him.
Speaking of another lose streak, Red Wings are on a 6-game lose streak.
That's
yeah.
a big one.
For a
right?
team they are so hot and cold, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're seeing the video of Ben Sherrod and Lucas Raymond fighting each other in practice, giving a little scruff.
Fighting over who the alpha is.
Yeah,
in Detroit.
right,
Ben Sherrod.
They are getting frustrated, extremely, because they were there. They were right there. They were.
Oh,
getting
yeah.
it.
I love it, though. Show,
Yeah,
be
go
that.
stop.
Yo, in
yeah.
the practice, yeah, sure,
Get,
yeah.
get pissed off, man. Shit's not going your way. Get fired up.
Yeah,
I
Good
love
for
the passion.
Bortuzzo
Not
and
sitting on their butts.
Yeah.
who'd Bortuzzo go at in that practice in St. Louis? The year they
that's
won
a-
the cup.
Yeah, I don't
That was
remember.
forever
So, yes.
ago.
Back.
Yeah,
But they
they're,
had that whole thing go down, then that was pretty much what turned their season around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
and play
Islanders
play
knocked them out.
Gloria.
Yeah, that was the Gloria run.
Yeah.
Jordan Bennington MVP. Actually, no, he didn't win it.
Feels like a
It-
lifetime ago.
It was O'Reilly.
Petrangelo?
Or no, it was
No, it was O'Reilly.
Was it
You're right,
O'Reilly?
yeah.
Okay.
That team
it's
was
just-
way sicker than I thought they were.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now, it's holy, how do we not know they were going to be that good?
Yeah. Bennington. he was the big story there during that season. What else we got? New Jersey trying to get a goalie with Jake Allen, 3rd round pick. He's not gonna. I'm a big fan of Allen. He's a pro. He'll do everything. He'll help other goalies too, but he's not gonna win you.
Yeah,
He's
same
not making.
thing.
He's not
Not
carrying you
moving
to
the needle.
playoffs, right?
I think, honestly, just bringing in that consistency, right?
Yeah.
From, like Dawes to Vanacek to whoever the other guy.
They dished Vanacek for...
Yeah, he went to San Jose.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like all season long, like they've just had zero consistency from their goalies. Like,
and I think Allen can bring that.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't really had a strong showcase this season, but other previous seasons he stands on his head sometimes.
But he's not having Merzlikins game. So you see that yesterday?
Oh my god!
Holy, talk about a rough showing.
Yeah. What was it?
4 shots, one
shot.
save.
Yeah, one save. Yeah.
Oh, and those are the only 3 goals in the game.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Talk about a guy that like completely overestimated himself. Like when he was like, "Oh, I want to trade. I'm bringing out the monster."
Bring out the monster.
Like, I mean, dude, like you're
Talk
just
about
really
falling on
hurting
your
yourself.
face.
Yeah, seriously.
What else can we go? Jack Roslovic going to New York Rangers.
Under the radar.
Yeah, I'm a big Roslovic guy.
I am
too.
a big.
I think he's sick.
And the price on it, a 4th round pick.
Yeah, and
that's conditional.
And he's from Columbus, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's a Columbus guy.
Like pretty sweet for him to be able to go play there for a few years and like then now get shipped out to go on a run. I think I might be wrong, but did he not already have this exact same thing happen where he got traded to New York at the deadline and re-signed with Columbus?
No, he got
traded. Totally
he
wrong.
got traded to Columbus in the Line deal.
Okay, that must be what I'm thinking of.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, he was shipped
I
off.
might just be agreeing with you because you look so confident.
Him and Line got shipped off to Columbus. Yeah, that sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah, but yeah, he's gonna be there. He's gonna fill that 3rd center spot. Him and Wenberg are gonna fight over that. I guess is what they want to do.
Shucks.
You can play Roslovic on the wing as well, because Philip Hedl, I think his name is out. LTIR. He was out for the season.
All done.
So. Yeah, just filling more gaps, getting Rangers more depth. I love this Rangers team. Mm-hmm. Another scary team out east. So I love Roslovic, and I feel like he can really turn it around. Another change of destination for him, change of scenery.
It's a good team to go to.
It's a great team to go to.
Yeah.
We'll end it off in probably the biggest way to end a trade deadline. Thomas Hertl.
Who would have thought?
Vegas Golden Knights. No one knew this was going to happen. Out of nowhere trade. How in hell did this happen? It's kind of crazy. Thomas Hertl, and you get 3/3 as well for a 1st-round pick and David Enstrom, which I haven't looked into too much, but I think he's a pretty highly rated prospect.
He was their first round
pick from this year or last year. Yeah,
however that works.
I don't know what
this past
I think
draft
would have been like 32, right? So,
yeah,
mid 1st-round pick. So, honestly, with term 2, I feel like you could have got more for Hertl. I don't know. He's injured, so it's kind of a hit or miss how you want to make that trade happen, right? Which I still don't know how that just came out of nowhere for Vegas. So.
Especially with them retaining, I think 17%. Yeah,
just to make it all work.
17.1%.
Yeah, like that's still like just about $2 million. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for what 6 seasons, maybe 5 after this one.
It was super weird, and like I think they kind of had to re-sign him when they did, but like it was just so out of like where they're at for him to re-sign there for 8 seasons. Like I think that contract ends when he's 34 or 36.
Yeah, probably something.
One of the two. But I mean, like, if you were paying him $8 million until he's 36, like that's a lot of money to be paying a guy that like might not age that well, and like there's a lot of things that go into it. But I don't know. I think you'll definitely get 4 good years out of Hertl for sure. Like,
yeah.
He's a big addition. 100%. Like, he's a big center. He's highly skilled.
So skilled, yeah.
Like, I think it would be cool to see him on a good team again. But sucks definitely. He went to Vegas.
Yeah, for you guys.
And
I love it.
Who would have thought, like, he would get moved?
Yeah, right?
Well, who do you guys want? Like, as of right now, it's like between LA or the Kings. Who are you guys hoping we verse and
I don't even know.
Las Vegas.
Neither. The Flames.
I'm going LA.
The Flames.
If we're gonna play Vegas,
Flames.
It'd be sweet to play him in the first round because hopefully Stone's still out
Catch
and
him
hurt
off
him.
guard.
Yeah. That would be the best case scenario. Go against Vegas, I guess.
Yeah. I have another question for you guys. What are your guys' predictions on who will win the President's Trophy?
that's a fun race.
It's a tight race, yeah.
Yeah, so as of right now, some nuggets here. Florida's in the lead today with 94 points. They have a 3-point lead over Vancouver and Boston, so they're at 91. So I'm going to go with, honestly, I think Florida, like they killed it last year. Nobody expected it. And we thought Tkachuk, wasn't going to win playoffs when he got changed from Calgary to I don't know. I'm going with Florida.
Yeah, that's probably one of the safer picks there. Rangers are still in it too, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're at 90 points with a game in hand as well. So they're 4 points back from Florida. So they can make that push right there. So there's definitely five teams. Even you could say Dallas, Winnipeg too, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how
Colorado.
close Colorado's coming up too. You can list off all 7 of those teams right there. It's
like last year it was pretty obvious who was going to win, and now this year it's like
Boston.
Yeah, I think honestly, in my opinion, Vancouver's the biggest fugazis out there. I do not believe that they
especially
are.
with Demko going down now.
For that reason, I don't think they're nothing. I think Vancouver's a great team, but with Demko,
I think their future's so bright.
Bright. I think they can make a deep run this year.
I don't think this is their year.
Yeah,
No.
I could see them going in being a fairly. If we were to pick out of L.A., Vegas, or Vancouver for Edmonton to play, I would definitely pick Vancouver.
100%.
And I don't know.
They're all young. They have no playoffs experience. It's just the better pick overall for experience, right? LA and Vegas, we've been there before with them. But Vancouver?
I'm a big Vancouver fan. I really think they can
You're a
make
big
run.
fan of every team.
I am a big fan of every team. I love their roster. I feel like up and down they can really make an extremely Lindholm now. I feel like they can make some damage, right? They can do some damage.
I think they're sick. They've got a sick team.
It's just the big question mark is Demko now, his injury. Yeah. How is he going to come back, right? So for President's Trophy, I think they do go down in standings just because of that. I don't think DeSmith is going to be that 1A goalie, but.
I would say, for the President's Trophy, I would say either Florida or, honestly, Dallas. Dallas is 5 points back right now.
Yeah, well, they have Stinkoven right now, and he's killing it.
Yeah, no, I think...
He's only going to play, I think, at most 24 games this year, so he's actually eligible as a rookie for the Calder Trophy next year. I saw that.
Really?
And I think his future is bright. 5'8", and he's killing it. And then he lit up the AHL.
Yeah. He's everywhere he goes, he just plays amazing. We were talking about it last time. He's the one I have my
eyes on right now.
But I think that's going to cut it for the trade deadline recap. We can go into some other news stories we have for our last 6 minutes, I think we have. We can talk about Nathan McKinnon hitting a career high in points, 112. I think he's at 113 now. Passing Kucherov.
He's kind of started to run away.
Now he for the Hart race, I think he is now running away. I think I said I had Kucherov winning it. Nah, it could flip again, but Nate Mack's on a different league right now. Extremely with his point streak right now. That's home games. The only other player to get a point in every single home game is Wayne Gretzky. So
you and Wayne,
McKinnon has a chance to do that.
And that's basically turned into I think this is what Ryan Whitney's been saying this, but these Colorado home games now, it's must-watch TV.
Oh my, they are.
If you're gonna having this record go, this is the first time it's happened in 20-some years, 30 years. This is pretty incredible. 40 straight games or 41 straight games at home with a point is fucking banana lands.
It's kind of crazy. And like you're saying, it's must-watch TV. Every single home game, he just brings up another level. He wants it, clearly. And he's going full try-hard during home games.
And, it's pretty damn near, a 2 point per game pace at home.
It's not like he's struggling to get 1 point, right?
Yeah.
He's getting multiple goals, multiple assists every game.
Talk about a guy that's just gotten better and better every year. He obviously, I think he had those kind of expectations, of Crosby, because they're from the same place and everything when he was coming in the league, but a little bit underwhelming first few years. But some completely flipped in him, where all of a sudden he just went on a tear.
He got his contract signed.
Yeah.
Made the big bucks, and he's like, yeah, I'll play now. I'll start.
Yeah, once he got off of that
producing
$6 million budget deal.
Yeah. After he stopped playing like Fortnite on
Yeah,
live
exactly.
streaming
He
every day.
stopped streaming, eating
That's
chickpea
so
pasta
funny.
every day.
We can talk about Jordan Eberle hitting 1,000 games.
Doesn't that just make you
Welcome
feel
to the
old
club.
as hell?
I know. It's tough to see.
Insane.
7 seasons in Edmonton, 4 on the Islanders, and 3 now on the Kraken. Probably one of the best junior players out there, right? In his junior level, he lit it up internationally too. World Juniors,
Canadian icon, in my opinion.
Canadian
like,
icon, Jordan Eberle.
He was like sick
Yeah,
in those World Junior
He's
runs.
definitely one of my favorite players. Like watching growing up in Edmonton, and definitely in that old core in Edmonton. He was definitely my favorite out of the bunch. But yeah, he also just signed a 2-year extension too, for $4.75 million per year.
I think that's a good deal.
Good for him. Good for him.
No, I think I wouldn't honestly be shocked if he ends up being captain there at some point. Like, I think he's like a pretty perfect all-around good guy. Like, I'm happy to see him hit 1,000 games.
Okay, probably our last topic we got to talk about is the John Tortorella 2-game suspension, fined $50,000 as well, for refusing to leave the bench after being ejected. What a funny moment that was.
He's such a beauty. He's got balls.
I love Tortorella so much.
Wasn't he like standing there for like 10 minutes and then somebody finally convinced him to leave?
Yeah, just like, hey, dude, like they're not dropping the puck. Like you gotta go.
And the Wes McCauley wouldn't talk to him. He stood on the other side of the rink and just wouldn't come up to him. Which
Just
is
a little bit of a clown show, though, no?
Yeah, it all started because it was like I think they called a penalty.
Yeah, it was a tripping call. I think
It was a tripping call,
that really
but
threw
then
him
it
off.
was like they called it for the wrong team. It was on Tampa, I think it was, right?
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't Tampa.
It was a whole mess.
Because the night was the 2004.
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that
Tampa Bay
hilarious?
Yeah.
like,
His honorary night.
Yeah.
Mr.
Honorary
Torts is in
night.
town for
The
our
coach
ceremony.
of the 2004 Stanley Cup champions. The rest of the team is
I-
all sitting in the booth watching.
The camera pan to the whole 04 team in the press box, laughing their
It's
ass
just
off.
like the most Torts
during
thing
this.
ever.
Seriously, for a guy who's had so many good like sound bites and quality like news conferences and stuff, like this is just another day in the office for this dude. Like he is one of a kind.
I feel like on social media too, his reputation has really changed too. Like extremely when he signed in Philly.
Yeah.
I think everybody was like, I hate Torts. He's such a nuisance. But now it's like, how can you not love him?
And especially when he talks about his team the way that he does, like he'll come out of games and stuff, and like they'll lose, and generally like you think that you're getting that whole like these guys didn't give a shit tonight, blah blah. But he's always like, I'm really proud of our group. Like we got some balls on our guys.
Yeah.
Like I think it's so like refreshing to hear that, especially from like a fairly old school coach, like just somebody that knows hard work and like loves to see it and encourages it like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's our time for you. Want to say?
I have
something?
like a couple things.
Okay.
Rempe 4-game suspension.
Yeah.
Kind of knew that was happening at some point.
Yeah.
Gotta get this done. In a
I
minute.
don't know. I don't like it. I don't like 4 games for that. I think, should you ever chicken wing someone in the jaw? No. But should you stop on a play when guys coming full speed at you? No, you should expect something to happen there.
If
It's
he
the same
followed
conversation
through,
we
it
had.
wouldn't have happened.
There you go, right? It's shoulder to shoulder and everybody's none the wiser. You stop on the play and, again, chicken winging when you're 6'8" at someone's jaw, not great, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's all his fault either, right?
all cause
The game
and
happens so fast, and he's there, now he's not. You got to get some part of him, or else you're going back to the bench and getting lit up for the next hour.
No.
I don't know.
Compared to the Brendan Gallagher elbow earlier this season where he got 5 games, I think it was.
That was through the middle of the ice, though, and
I
he
don't
had him
know.
lined up.
I don't know. I don't really agree with that at all, honestly, Brennan. Like, I think that was like a brutal hit.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're definitely right. Like, it is a guy thinking, like, I gotta get a piece of him. Like, but I mean, Siegenthaler's got all the right to just, like, dump that in, stop, circle back. Like, I mean, he extended that thing out pretty far and just strictly jaw.
I can get how he stopped, and if it was shoulder to head, which still would have been really bad, it's just the flying elbow out of nowhere.
But at the last second, right? Like, you got to get a piece. You got to get a piece. I'm not trying to get him in the jaw, and I know that's not what they're evaluating, right? It's shoulder to jaw. Sorry, dude. That's the rule book.
That is just... Yeah.
But, I don't know. I don't think it's fully on him.
No, I definitely get what you're saying.
Which is the play for, like, almost every suspension, kind of. Not every, but most suspensions. It's like, you get put in a bad place, then...
Yeah, but same thing.
Still,
I don't know.
It's still rules. I don't know.
We watched... Truba, two-handed dude in the back of the head and get $5,000. And now we're going to suspend this kid 4 games for, I don't know.
I think they honestly had kind of
it's so much different. Truba's trying to two-hand this dude in the head, and he gets nothing. This dude, last second, catches a piece. Shitty. I get it, but I don't know. Like, where's the line? What are we doing here, guys?
I think him waving at McDermott was also kind of lame, too.
That wasn't a good look.
That was definitely not a good look at all. I'm surprised he didn't drop the gloves there, but we got to wrap it up
on
now.
that before we start fist fighting.
Yeah. Thank you for listening Around the Rinks. See you guys next week.
That has been another episode of Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast. We'll see you next time.